Hi and welcome back to another video of JPlay. I am Marcus and sorry for the long silence. I really am terribly sorry for that, but I was incredibly sick, at least to my voice, nothing really serious, but couldn't really speak a lot actually. And yeah, today I'm going to start another playthrough of Arkham Horror, the 3rd edition, as you can see. And I'm focusing on a scenario that comes with the Secrets of the Order expansion, which I've never played so far. I was really shocked to see that the cards weren't even sleeved. I basically pulled it off the shelf in this case. So I changed that immediately and that, okay, let's give this one a try. I was going to do something else, but due to some events out there in the world, I decided against that, which is another reason why I was a little bit delayed, because after I was sick, I also was incredibly busy. So, but really now I'm hopefully back on track, and that's what we're looking at. And I kind of randomly decided to go with the Dead Cry Out scenario, again coming from the Secrets of the Order expansion here. And the story so far is: ancient magic has torn through the veil that protects Arkham from the worlds beyond. Terrible creatures erupt from the Underworld to threaten all you hold dear. Yeah, then we already know we have some starting space here, which we will all start on the train station. I will have a look at the characters in a second. We have a special, let's call it scenario rule here, which is a bystander, and all face down ally cards on the board are called bystanders, and we started the game with some. Again, I will come to that in a second too. And then we have a reckoning effect, very special for this scenario. Whenever we are triggering a reckoning and there is exactly one token in the Mythos Cup, we will have to place another ally face down in the street nearest the unstable space, and then we will also spawn one monster in the unstable space, and those monsters will all go after our poor bystanders on the board. And whenever they eat one, then yeah, we are adding one more doom to the sheet. And if you know the game here, having doom on the scenario sheet is typically not a good thing. As for the so-called Codex, we will start with card number 1. I'm not going to read this one here because that's a very generic one. You typically start the game with either Codex card 1 or 2. And in this case, it's the 1, and it says if a space has 4 or more doom, we will do stuff with the doom, and this really can build up over time. So we definitely do have to do some doom control here. But of course, the scenario comes with its own little cards of Codex, and that's something I'm definitely going to read to you. A shifting path. Unstable portals appear throughout Arkham, disgorging unnatural beasts into the city streets. Secret routes into the depth of the dark and unforgiving world form and then fade away as the energies that assault your reality rend new paths into the unnatural place. And that's a very cool rule, because we have now hidden paths in the scenario. Again, I will show those other map to you in a second minute or so. And whenever we are drawing a blank token, this hidden path will move around the board. Again, very, very interesting mechanic in this case. But of course, we are not done yet. We also have a wave of blood. The beasts that spill across Arkham seek easy prey. You cannot allow them to feed upon the unsuspecting populace. Once the imminent threat is clear, you can devote your energy to understanding where these terrible creatures came from. And yeah, that's basically what I already described. Monsters will now treat closest bystanders as their prey, similar to, or instead of their normal prey, that's important, and engage bystanders as though they are investigators. And we can defeat those monsters and we can rescue those bystanders basically with an additional action that comes with the wave of blood. And last but not least, we have Dark Disciples. These attacks are not random. Something on the other side of the mystical portals that ripple through Arkham stirs these beasts into a savage frenzy. Each death fuels the dark ritual that are at work here. When there is 3 doom on the scenario sheet, we are flipping this card. And yeah, we can add doom in a multiple way, most likely through some of our allies or bystanders, but also when we are drawing some more tokens. What it will happen sooner or later for sure. But okay then, that's the city of Arkham. We are dealing with the Underworld, which is another an Otherworld encounter, which I think so far was kind of missing from the previous expansions from the base game, which is very standard to the second edition. You would always travel to the Otherworld, not so much in this one here. I think, yeah, when you, in some of these scenarios, you kind of traveled over when you, I think, tried to defeat Azathoth, for example. I think you were going to the Dreamland or so. Cannot quite remember right now, but that's basically now really the first tile we have basically depicting the Otherworld, and we have the City of the Gugs, we have the Walls of Sin, we have the Whale of Pnuth. I think that was pretty accurate. And here we have those hiding paths or these secret passages here. And these will move around the board, but when they are here, they allow you to take shortcuts basically to other parts of the city. So we can now move directly here from the north side, 1-2 spaces here into the City of the Gugs, into the Underworld here. But they also come with hazardous borders, as you see here. So when you are moving over one of those hazardous borders, you can either stop directly with your first move and then nothing will happen. If you want to continue to move after this initial step, you basically have to lose 1 health. The same would be true for this border down here, which would allow you, or which would require you to discard one of your focus token if you want to move out of this space here. But in this case, we would move 1-2 spaces, so we would lose 1 health to move down here. Of course, again, we could decide to stop here. And these hidden paths here, I think it's the hidden path here. They also come with, or threshold spaces, I believe, threshold tiles, that's the proper name. They also come with their own little encounter deck. A very small encounter deck, I must say. I think only 6 cards, so could be a little bit repetitive. I don't know. Let's see how things goes. But like the street spaces here and there, for example, you typically don't want to end your movement there anyway, because there's nothing or not a lot to gain there. Yeah, this is basically how those hidden paths work, and also basically those hazardous borders. The Underworld on its own also comes with hazardous borders, so if you really want to move out, then yeah, that's definitely, no, could be very hurtful actually. And depending on which character you are, you can definitely take a lot of wounds. If you are Michael McGlenn, for example, who is pretty much one of our tanks in this scenario, but maybe you don't want to lose too much sanity here when crossing over this space here, for example. Again, if you only move 1 space, you are fine, you're not losing anything. If you want to continue to move, especially when whatever paying with money, which would allow you to move further than only 2 spaces, then yes, you basically have to pay for that. These hidden paths are not the only way to move to the Underworld in this scenario, because down here we also have a derelict portal. Works pretty much the same thing like those hidden paths. It's very stable, so it's not moving around, but it also comes with those hazardous borders, and then apart from that, works pretty much the same way. I already seeded the starting clues on the board. That's the reason why we see a clue token here in the Underworld, in Uptown, and also here on the south side. The problem is right now, all of our investigators are starting the game here at the train station. Yes, we can move relatively easily to the Underworld, and I'm pretty sure someone will go there. We need those clue tokens like crazy. But all the other clues are down here in Uptown and South Side, and I'm not sure. Yes, you can always spend money to move there, but it's still quite a long distance. But on the other hand, we also want to get rid of those Doom tokens here, so maybe that's something that you have to balance in this game anyway. And by the way, here you also see the allies. I don't know what those allies are, so they are really face down. When they are dead, they are killed and pretty much out of the game. But again, if we are able to free them, then I think, yeah, we can get ourselves some allies. And allies are usually very, very powerful, so I can only imagine that the game could be tough, could be really tough. In respect to the monsters, we have a tail-end cannibal over here. That's a hunter basically moving towards some of our investigators. And down here we have a vicious glutton who is patrolling towards the most doom. And I think right now that's this space here, because all of the spaces have 1 doom on it. Apart from that, I think that's okay. The unstable space right now is Hips Roadhouse over here, basically depicted by this card here. And apologies for some of the glare over here, but hopefully we should be able to deal with that. And then maybe let's have a very brief look at our investigators. And ultimately I have decided to play a 3-player game because unlike Eldritch Horror, the amount of investigators, there is no balancing problem like they had with Eldritch Horror, which really is bad. You should never ever play with an uneven amount of investigators in Eldritch Horror. Here it doesn't make any difference whatsoever. So I think 3 is a cool number to handle when playing this game alone. I will still mess up a lot of rules. I will forget special abilities and whatnot, so bear with me, but again, I will try my very best. First of all, we have Michael McGillan, the mobster. When he defeats a monster as part of an attack action, you can recover one sanity or focus one skill. That's pretty great. He only has a focus limit of 1, so he's not the brightest guy under the sun, it seems, but yeah, it's still okay. He always starts with a Chicago typewriter, a 2-handed weapon, +4 to an attack action, pretty powerful stuff. And then I could decide between the old boiler and something else, which I already forgotten. But I decided to go with the vehicle here. After perform a move action, you may deal 2 damage to one monster you are engaged with and 2 damage to this card. So pretty powerful stuff. Also very, very... he's really our tank. I mean, he comes with 8 strength points here, life points here, 5 more here. That's pretty cool stuff. For our second character, we have a fellow from the Secrets of the Order expansion. That's Mark Harrigan. That's really someone I draw more or less random. I wanted to have a second character or one character from the expansion. In the end, I ended up with 2, but I come to that in a second. And he's the soldier, and he comes with 2 abilities actually. He's docked at the start of your turn. If you are delayed, you may focus one skill of your choice or recover 1 sanity. How you get delayed in this game, typically that's more random. Yeah, he has some control over that. And he's also steadfast. You may perform the attack action any number of times per round. That's pretty solid. I don't know how many monsters we are dealing with in this scenario, but I think that's pretty cool stuff. He has the talent, the one-man army, after you end your movement in a monster space or a monster moves into or spawns in your space. Wow. You may become delayed, that's for the dogged ability here, to perform an attack action as an additional action. Pretty powerful stuff. And then I decided, I think he also has a more combat-y kind of second thing he can choose, but I really liked Sophie's portrait here. Really makes thematic sense to me. Once per round while resolving a test, you may suffer 1 damage to reroll 1 die or all dice. That's pretty powerful. And it also helps our dogged ability here. When we are using the dogged ability, he can also recover 1 sanity with Sophie's portrait. And it can take some mental or sanity damage here. Pretty cool. And last but not least, we have Agatha Crane, the parapsychologist. A new field of study. After you suffer 1 or more horror, you may focus 1 skill of your choice and gain 1 remnant. Remnants can be incredibly powerful actually. And I now notice I didn't really fully pay attention because the other ability or the other thing that she could start at the game instead of Call the Dead was calling for remnants, and I said, wow, should we really wait for remnants? I didn't really pay attention here. Anyway, I'm not going to change that. She always starts the game with the occult principle, which is a double-sided talent which will flip back and forth, and this one says after you gain a clue from your neighborhood, you may place 1 doom in your space to gain 1 additional clue from the token. Then we would flip it over. That's extremely powerful, really. And then we also starting the game with a spell, a very expensive spell. It costs us 2 sanity whenever we are casting this, and a 7 is okay, but we cannot use it endless, that's for sure. And this one says as an action we can test our lore, and if we pass that test we will discard the top card of the locations encounter decks or wherever we are, and if we discard an event this way, gain 1 clue from your neighborhood. That's amazing. So we can simply gain more clues and remove. It's really, really powerful. And that's pretty much it in respect to the setup. Again, as usual, in a game of Arkham Horror, the 3rd edition, you don't necessarily know what you need to do. Of course, we have some short-term goals. Yes, we want to fight off Doom. We want to, maybe in this case, gain some more allies or rescue those allies here. Maybe we want to start getting after some of those monsters. Maybe one of our guys will move towards the first clue here. So yeah, there is definitely a lot to do in this game, but again, the big picture is right now still missing. And yeah, I like that a lot actually. Of course you could argue, but yeah, if you played that scenario I don't know, 10 times, then you know what's going to happen. But in the meantime, with all the expansions, I think there are now 12 scenarios or so in that, and believe me, I played this game quite a bit, and yeah, it's never getting repetitive, really not. Okay, then I guess let's get started. I decided to go with Michael McClann to be our so-called lead investigator. So he has the flashlight activation token. You are getting to do 2 actions. They have to be different actions. I will not explain you the core rules of the game. You will pretty sure, even if you don't know this game, you will learn it with me as I go for sure. I will take it slow the first round or so, and we'll also only cover 1 or 2 rounds today. If you have forgotten it as well, or have never seen it, never played it yourself, then you should be able to get behind the rules relatively easily. Okay, it's Michael McGlenn, and originally I was thinking about moving him down here into the Underworld simply because he can take that hit from that hazardous border, but I think so can Agatha. And again, with her special ability, she should be really able to get this clue token here. And I'm really also, I think maybe we should even consider to start with her then instead, just to see how things go. Does it really matter? Yeah, no, it doesn't. Also, unlike Eldritch Horror, doesn't really matter too much who carries the lead investigator token. You can still take those things in any order. So let's start with Agatha. She has 2 money, which is not an awful lot, but ideally, and because we are trying to move after this clue down here, of course it's kind of a long shot, I still would like her to move down here to the Underworld. So we are moving 1, 2 spaces down here. We have to take 1 health hit because we have continued to move afterward, but that's still okay, I think. And we could now spend another $1 to move down here. The problem is we don't have the focus token to do that. So what we cannot discard, we cannot continue to move. So that's kind of a bummer, but still I want to go after this clue token here whenever possible, of course. And we could now really already decide, maybe, okay, I could have gained this 1. Yeah, I think because our first action could have been a focus action. And I think let's take a step back and said, okay, we would have taken with our first action a focus action. We would have focused with strength. Doesn't really matter too much because again, we want to continue to move down here. Now we have to discard it again because we wanted to continue to move after we have moved over the border here. And then, we have to spend $1 because we wanted to move an extra space, but that's really not a problem. But these were basically already her 2 actions. Not sure if that was a wise idea or not, but I really wanted her to move down here. If we are going to add another Doom token down here, then with our next turn or so, we would then go for a ward action to get rid of the Doom in 1 action, ideally. Okay, but that was Agatha. We are flipping her marker, and then I guess we are moving over to Michael McGlenn, and I think we want to get after this bystander here. I think we can go there 1, 2 spaces to move in here, and then we can move up to 2 additional spaces when we are spending the dollars, and I think let's do that. So 1, 2, 1, 2. So we have to spend $2. He starts the game with $3, so he still has 1 left. So that leaves us at least with something to to work with the next turn or so. And with our second action, we are going for the action on the Wave of Blood card, which says flip 1 bystander in your space face up to gain that ally card and place 1 clue token from the pool on the scenario sheet. That's pretty powerful. So let's do that. So we are flipping this ally here, and that's Leland Williams, an antiquities dealer. After you gain this card from the deck, gain 1 curio item. Cool. And yeah, he can take up some damage. Oh, that's pretty amazing actually. Doesn't really come with a lot of special abilities on an ongoing basis, but pretty much cannon fodder here, which I really totally like. So first of all, we are grabbing this ally. We are adding 1 clue token to the scenario sheet here. And by the way, in order to progress the game, we want to get rid of the bystanders on the board here. When there are no bystanders on the board, add card 139 to the Codex, and then we would flip this card here recording, and then I'm pretty sure it will tell you how many clues you need in order to again progress the game accordingly. And then last but not least, it's Mark Harrigan, and I think let's also go for this fella here. Again, I was not going to I was not able to gain the 3rd ally here anyway, so I think let's do that. 1, 2, 3. Again, we moved 1 additional space, which means we have to spend $1. He's also down to $1 left, so really not very rich. With the second action, we are going to liberate the bystander here, Jenica Capra. And I forgot to give the curio item to Michael McLan. Let me fix that in a second, but for now let's see. That's a Mystic Bounty Hunter. After you defeat a monster as part of an attack action, you may remove 1 doom from your space. Oh, that's a pretty amazing one, especially to give to a tank character. Oh, I like that a lot. And she also can take some more damage. Cool. Let's not forget to add another clue token here, and then we definitely will give Michael McLan his curio item. And I'm somewhat intrigued to give him the leather coat here, because you get a +1 observation as part of an evade action, and because his observation skill is only a 1, that could be important. On the other hand, not 100% sure how many times he's going to evade, because he's our tank. He wants to be engaged to monsters. What else do we have? Here we have a curio item. It's a map of Arkham. While you are in a street space, monsters do not engage you unless you attack them. Could be okay, but that's a more powerful thing maybe for Agatha. And then we have the secret page, which is a curio tome, but I'm not sure how often he's going to go for ward action. I'm basically getting rid of doom in our space. I mean, yeah, +2. He could then, I mean, it's good to have characters that are not necessarily only good for one thing. But in this case, we could also simply, I think he's a gambler, so he's going to basically go for the deck. And the first, that's a curio item, the warding stone, and I'm pretty sure that's even worse than the secret page for him. Once per round, as part of a ward action, you may spend 1 remnant to re-roll any number of dice. Yeah, that's not really great for him, I guess. We can give it over to Agatha at some point in time. Maybe he will use it, I don't know, but that's not really great for him. Yeah, okay. It is what it is. But I guess that's pretty much the end of the action phase. So yeah, let's flip this token here over. We are moving into the monsters phase. So the monsters will now activate. And I think down here we already are having a problem. But again, I don't think that there would have been any chance to deal with that. Actually, we can pretty much, yeah, we can activate them anywhere we would like it. The Talent Cannibal here, he moves towards and engage low. Oh, the lowest. Oh, I didn't read that fully. He will go for the lowest influence, which is definitely not Michael McLan. This is Mark Harrigan. Oh, that's interesting. So he is now not engaging us, actually. He's moving, yeah, towards Mark Harrigan. Yep, that's really the case. Okay, so this Talent Cannibal is moving 1-2 spaces over here. For whatever reason, I was 100% sure we are going to engage this. Okay, I didn't really pay attention. I need to read these things. I was really going to engage with. Maybe I will chase it afterwards or so. Let's see about that. But that was... Oh, on the other hand... Oh, wait a second. Because those monsters treat the closest bystander as their prey instead of their normal prey. Okay, no, I think in this case this monster will move 1, 2 spaces down here actually, because we do have a bystander here. Yeah, that's the case. So yeah, instead of their normal prey. Yeah, absolutely. I think whenever there are no bystanders out there on the board, then they will go back to their normal behavior. Well, in this case, yes, they will totally go after the bystanders, because again, this is how we are adding doom to the scenario card. We still have to deal with a vicious glutton down here. It will also move 2 spaces. Unfortunately, we do have an ally here, and again, could we have made it? I really don't think so, because again, you can move 2 spaces, 4 spaces in total maximum. Yeah, I think it is what it is, right? So it will move 1, 2 spaces over here. And then it says at the end of the monster's phase, if a monster is engaged with a bystander. So this is now really engaged with this bystander here for sure. And now it will basically eat this bystander here. Poor Arthur Johnson. Bye-bye. You are out of the game for good. But this will now exhaust this monster. That's at least somewhat of a comfort to us, because it will not move the other only thing that it will do, it will flip to the other side, but maybe we can deal with it afterwards. And because we have lost 1 ally, we are adding 1 doom token to the scenario card. And when there are 3 doom on the scenario card, we would then flip the Dark Disciples Codex card, and also will progress the scenario in a maybe not so favorable way. Okay, let's move into the encounter phase, and all of our investigators are having an encounter because they are not engaged with a monster. Interesting. So I guess I'm really curious and I want to see how things go. So I guess we will start with Agatha here in the Vale of Pnath. And yeah, we will draw our very first encounter card in the Underworld. And unfortunately, it's not an event card. The dim grey of the Vale shows the mountainous, unending pile of bones at its heart, flanked by the peaks of Thok. If you take a moment to look at the nearby bodies, you might find something useful amidst the cairn. You may suffer 1 horror to gain $3. Whether you do or not, something shifting under the bones prompts you to hurry away. Okay, yeah, getting $3 for 1 horror, I think that's a good deal actually. So let's definitely take that horror. She can take that horror, so for her it's really okay, I guess. But this also means we are getting $3 more, which we can either use to buy stuff or to simply continue to move. I think that wasn't a terrible event. Thematically, I'm not sure how dollar has any meaning in the Underworld here, but okay. That's that. And I think up next, let's deal with Michael McLan in French Hill, because that's also a new location and I'm simply curious. So he's here at the Silver Twilight Lodge. Yeah, so let me bring out the card. Really thematic. I like this a lot, and let's see what he encounters. Of course, there are no clue tokens whatsoever, though there can't be any event cards in there. You watch as several lodge members perform a strange ritual. Gain 1 spell. Why should he gain spell? Yeah, of course, like you can check those icons, you see what you can expect here, but okay, let's see about that. Afterwards, you sneak in and study their text. But first of all, we will really gain that spell. So let's do that. I mean, that's really something that you simply do in order, and in this case, we were able to get the binding spell. A ritual spell. As an action, choose 1 monster on any space and test thing using that monster's evade modifier. If you pass, exhaust that monster. It disengages. Nice. Okay, that can be helpful. Yeah, maybe that's okay. That's okay. And now we do have to do our lore check here. At least he is rolling 2 dice. And yes, I really didn't read any further, so I have no clue what will happen. You would now normally expect the standard black dice that come with the game, but if you notice, or I think I mentioned it in one of my previous playthroughs, a very, very nice fella, Patrice, sent me as a gift these awesome Arkham Horror dice, and I'm really so appreciative. I think it's the first time on camera I were using them, but of course I did use them a lot in the meantime. And yeah, again, thanks again so much for these awesome dice here. So let's see, we are rolling 2 dice again, and we are only looking for 1 success. We don't have any clues, any re-rolls, I believe. No. We don't, and bam! Yeah, these dice are good. 6 and a 5. Amazing. If you pass, the knowledge is astounding. You may focus 2 skills of your choice. The problem is we only have a focus limit of 1. But I will take it anyway, because that's basically a free action. I think, yeah, let's totally go for the observation in this case. Yeah, that was an amazing encounter, actually. Didn't really bring the story any further, but still, I like that one a lot. Cool stuff. That was Michael McLean. Last but not least, it's Mark Harrigan over here at the own library at the Miskatonic University. So let's see if I can do that real quick. Abigail Foreman, a young librarian, shows you the section of an ancient folklore that you were looking for. Okay, that's a lore check. That's 1 die for him. Not sure is it actually worth bringing out the dice tower, but yeah, let's see about that. And that's really a massive fail. He doesn't have any rerolls for these kind of things. Yeah, we could use Sophie's portrait now. Once per round while resolving a test, you may suffer 1 damage to reroll 1 die or all dice. I think let's do that, right? I mean, yeah, it's only 1 die, but well, let's not try to fail too often early in the game. So let's reroll that 1, and it's a 4. Awfully close, but not good enough. So let me remove that 1 here. If you fail, you can't sort the witchcraft and chicanery from the real thing. Okay, so there's no ill effect whatsoever, so that's okay. We are discarding the rest, and that's basically the encounter phase. So we are moving into the
Mythos Phase.
And yeah, I think this is the one piece which you have to do in player order, starting from the lead investigator. So Michael McLean goes first. We are drawing 2 tokens. So here's the first one, and that's a Doom token. Isn't that lovely? But as there are 4 of those tokens in the deck, I'm not really surprised. So we're basically discarding the bottom card of the event deck. And yeah, we are placing basically, yeah, I hope I didn't mix it up. So, whoa, 2 Doom tokens go into the City of the Gooks and the Whale of Pnuth. That's not too bad, actually, because we have her here. I like that. And what was the other one? The City of the Gooks. And both of those are now the unstable space. Interesting, but that was only 1 token. So let's draw the second one, and that's a blank. And there was something with a blank token. Yes, the hidden path is moving. So we would remove all those tokens. We would do it. We will flip it. I will shake it around because it has to go in a random order, and that's basically where the new hidden path has appeared. So Michael McLean could now again move into the Underworld, but of course I think we are going for the Talent Cannibal instead. Okay, those were the 2 tokens for Michael McLean. Let's deal with Mark Harrigan next. So, first token. Oh, that's our first headline. We have a deck of, I believe, 13 cards, that is. So let's see what we get. And of course, with all the expansions, there are also a massive amount of news cards in the deck now. Dream Expert found dead. Foul play suspected. Dr. Ephraim Svielinger, MD PhD, dead in his home. Doctor strangled to death by his own hand. Headline, test, what is it? Will? Yeah, will. You suffer through prevent 1 horror for each success you rolled. Wow, that's a massive one. Good thing is he is rolling 4 dice, but the problem is we have used Sophie's portrait already, so we cannot do that again. So we're ideally looking for 3 successes, right? How about 0? Yeah, you must be kidding me. Wow. And there's no reroll whatsoever. Yeah, that was tough. I mean, he's still alive. We could have lost our very first investigator here and there if he would have taken any wound. Of course, yeah. Let's be maybe. Yeah, we still have these guys here, but I don't want to kill her off. And yeah, I think we have to take it, because I think I cannot split the damage between, let's say, put 2 here and 1 there. Let me check that real quick. And yes, indeed, if you would suffer damage, you may assign some or all of that damage to 1 of your assets instead. But I think that's the point. Again, I cannot distribute it between different assets. That's the basically magic thing. Okay, cool. Let's do that then instead. So get rid of this 3 here. We are assigning 2 to Jenica and 1 to Mark. Again, I cannot do 2 here and 1 here. That's definitely not allowed. And I cannot overkill. an asset, so it can only take 2. The rest I have to suffer in that case. Problem is that was only 1 token. Apart from that, that was a very, very bad headline actually. Hate it already. And that's the second one, and that's a monster. How cool is that? So we are drawing a monster from our monster deck. This has taken me the longest time. That is typically what takes you the longest in this game to set it up, going through the monster deck. And one of the expansion comes with this nice standee here. And we have the Cursing Hound. You always draw from the back in this case. The Cursing Hound spawn at the unstable space. And that's either the City of the Googs or the Whale of Pnuth. And honestly, let's spawn the Cursing Hound over here. It's a hunter, and move directly to and engage highest strength. Okay, he's not chasing us. He will go after this one. Cool. And I already forgot it. Oh, that's so bad. I have to repair that now before I continue on. Oh yeah, that's the problem with new scenarios that you have never played before. Of course, I totally forgot. The Wave of Blood. This should have happened after the monster killed someone. So before anything else would have happened. Yeah, when there are no bystanders on the board, add card 139 to the Codex and flip this card. Okay, yeah, that's really on me. Apologies for that. So let's add the card. I think that goes first. Let's see what new cards we are bringing up. Oh, a strange pantheon. The beasts that spill across Arkham, those that can speak anyway, evoke a litany of names while they hunt. Lobon, Ukranos, Sokolar, and Tamash. While they are unfamiliar to you, it is clear that the monstrous invaders hold these entities in great reverence. When there are 3 or more clues on the scenario sheet, flip this card. Okay, that's interesting. So we are adding this over here, and we have to flip this one here too, the Wave of Blood. Okay, bound to darkness. The creatures that rampage through the streets are not the only souls bound to the sinister power that assaults you. Some dark energy has ensnared the minds of the city's residents, awakening aspects of the dead gods that lurk beyond Arkham's shadows. Monsters treat the closest bystander as their prey, instead of their normal prey, and engage bystanders as though they are investigators. I have read that before. I don't know, that's put it on the other side of this card, stupid me. At the end of the monster's phase, if a monster... Okay, that's basically the same thing. We are exhausting that monster and place 1 doom on the scenario sheet. That's what we did. Okay, and as an action, flip 1 bystander in your space face up to gain that ally card. Okay, what did change now is that we are no longer gaining an additional clue after we have flipped this. Oh, interesting. So we have gained 2 clues, that's cool, but that's basically it. The rest of the clues we have to gather from our neighborhoods. And then we have a reckoning effect. Each investigator rolls 1 die. This is not a test. If your result is less than or equal to the number of allies you have, place 1 doom in the unstable space unless you discard 1 ally. Oof. Boah. Okay, difficulty is ramping up for sure. Wow. That's basically already happened in round 1. So maybe I shouldn't have rushed towards that. But yeah, live and learn. And now we can continue with our Mythos Phase. We still have to do that twice for Agatha. And again, I forgot something, but now I'm here to fix this. After you suffer 1 or more horror, which we did, she has a horror here. You may focus 1 skill of your choice and gain 1 remnant. I mean, that's pretty powerful. So we are gaining this remnant here, and we can focus a skill of our choice. Should we go for strength, or should we go incredibly strong towards lore? I mean, she's not going to fight. Let's give her 1 more lore, actually. Because then she might be going for a ward action relatively soon. Okay, so now I have fixed that. Let's now really finally draw our thing. That's another doom. So let's see what we get. Again, we are getting this. That's a north side. Again, 2. This is really a tough event deck, actually. The Arkham Advertiser and the Curiosity Shop. Here and here. Okay, but that was only one token. So let's draw the next one. And that's a clue. I like a clue. So in this case, we are taking the topmost card. Oh, that's the Underworld. That's nice. Which means we're adding another clue token in here. We are taking the top 2 cards from the Underworld deck and basically shuffling those things together. And because we already had one there and we just discarded, or basically put it on the bottom of the deck, it's very, very likely that our next card is a cool thing, and we might want to consider. Oh yeah, that's cool. I like that. I like our chances here. Cool stuff. But those were basically all our Mythos tokens. Yes, we did that in player order. And then we would, in theory, move into the next round. But I feel this was a relatively long episode for today because I had to explain the scenario, I had to do a lot of reading. I think I refreshed some of the rules. I had to read through some of the rules myself. That's also on me. I already had the chance to mess up and forget a lot of their special powers and whatnot, and I guarantee you this will continue to happen, so bear with me. But again, I'm really having so much fun time playing this game. I'm not sure why this game isn't, I think I know a lot of folks who like this game, so don't get me wrong, but I also have read a lot of nasty comments on The Geek and somewhere else that they totally loathe this version of Arkham Horror. Yes, I totally understand. I also love Eldritch Horror. I love the 2nd edition, but I also do love the more, let's say, thematic approach that they went with the 3rd edition here. And it feels much more balanced. And maybe that's which some of you don't like. Actually, there's a lot more streamlining in this game and a lot more control that you have. It's not completely chaotic. So if you take a 2nd edition Arkham Horror, put in a lot of expansion, you really don't know what you get. It's really a completely mixed bag. And this one takes care of a lot of these balancing things, taking the right quote-unquote monsters into the deck, making sure you have the right events and not dealing with everything in there. I really love this game. I really do. Every time I play it, I'm having a blast playing it, and whoever I introduce this game to, they all say, oh wow, I really like that. I really like that it's more control, that it's giving you more things to discover along the way. So yeah. But okay, I understand. I'm not here to sell you this game. I'm just showing you how I played, and again, telling you that I really totally like this game. Before I close for today, a huge shout out to all my patrons and channel members out there. Really do appreciate all your support. Stay safe out there, not just Corona, but also in the Ukraine. Believe me, I'm with you in my mind, and I'm really trying to do as much as I can to support this. So stay safe wherever you are, and really hope to see you soon in one of my other videos. And yeah, until then, bye bye.